Single dad CEO's maid pretends to be his girlfriend, but what happens next will shock you. In a world painted with secrets and deceptions, Sam Jenkins led a life drowned in pressure. As the CEO of a fast-growing tech startup, every day was a tightrope act. But even Sam's endless meetings and ambitious targets couldn't prepare him for the twisted turn his life was about to take. It all began one stormy night, the kind that made the shadows dance across the walls of his lavish but lonely penthouse. He had just lost his wife, and now, the thought of raising his young daughter alone felt like mountain climbing without ropes. The emptiness echoed loudly through the corridors, each moment heavy with memories that hung thick in the air. And then entered Mia, a maid with an enigmatic past. She was only supposed to keep things tidy, to clean the remnants of chaos left behind. But something in the way she moved, her cautious glances, told a different story. Mia wasn't just dusting away sadness, she was holding it at bay, hiding a secret depth beneath those soft, worn work clothes. In a strange twist of fate, she got tangled in the delicate web of his life, pretending to be his girlfriend, a role dictated by an impulsive decision to save face during a high-stakes social gathering. With each day, that facade twisted tighter around them. What started as a simple lie grew into a complex charade that made hearts race and palms sweat. Tension crackled in the air like static, and Sam found himself torn between the need for companionship and the suffocating fear of exposing his vulnerability. Was this just a game? Or was something much darker lurking beneath the surface? He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching, waiting for the moment the truth unraveled, ready to pounce. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the mystery deepened, unexpected twists began to surface. Was Mia truly a simple maid lost in life, or was she part of a greater, more sinister plot? Each night, Sam felt the walls closing in, uncertainty gnawing at his mind. The cries of his daughter echoed through the empty halls, a stark reminder of the stakes involved. With every secret unveiled, the question loomed larger: could love really blossom from lies? How would all this end when the truth finally broke free, and would anyone walk away unscathed? Now he found himself staring into the abyss, wondering if he was strong enough to confront whatever darkness awaited him, and if Mia was the light or simply an illusion cast by the shadows. The air was thick with uncertainty as Sam tried to gather his thoughts. Mia moved quietly in the background, her presence both comforting and disconcerting. She had become a part of his daily life, a shrouded figure with secrets of her own. Each time he caught her gaze lingering a little too long, a lump formed in his throat, his instincts shouting that there was something he wasn't seeing. Sam rubbed his temples, the weight of the charade pressing down like a leaden blanket. His daughter, Lily, had taken a liking to Mia, calling her the fun maid as they played together in the living room. That innocent laughter bounced off the walls, filling the empty spaces of grief, momentarily making everything feel okay. But Sam couldn't shake the icy tendrils of dread coiling around his heart. How long could this last? How long before the truth crashed down around them? As the clock struck midnight, he heard a noise, soft murmurs from the kitchen. Curiosity piqued, Sam rose, the wooden floor creaking under his feet. He padded softly toward the source, his pulse quickening. Peering around the corner, he spotted Mia, her back turned to him, speaking into her phone with hushed urgency, his breath hitched as he strained to hear. "I can't. Not yet. This could ruin everything." A cold shiver raced down his spine. Was she plotting something? A sudden fire flared in his chest, anger mixed with fear. He stepped forward, clearing his throat, causing Mia to jump and spin around, eyes wide with surprise. "Sam! I didn't hear you. What are you doing?" He kept his voice steady, hiding the turmoil churning inside him. Mia hesitated, biting her lip, the tension thickening the air between them. It's personal. I didn't want to bother you. Personal? The word felt heavy, layered with implications. Who were you talking to? Her expression shifted, a flash of vulnerability breaking through her carefully crafted facade. It's complicated. He crossed his arms, unwilling to let her escape this time. Complicated? We've jumped off a cliff together. We need to be honest with each other. Mia's shoulders slumped, and for a moment, it felt like the walls were closing in on them, trapping them in their tangled reality. I made a mistake, Sam. I thought I could handle it, but I can't keep up this lie forever. Sam felt his chest tighten. Words hung unspoken in the air, clawing at him. Had he misjudged everything? Was she simply a maid after all, drowning in secrets while trying to fill a void he had yet to understand? And deeper still, was his heart pushing him towards something more real, something he wasn't ready to confront? Just then, the phone buzzed on the counter, breaking the silence. Mia's eyes flickered to it, panic written across her face. He could see the hesitation in her posture, the way she bit her nails, a sign of a storm brewing inside her. Who is it? He asked, voice low, intensity building. Mia swallowed hard, reluctant to answer. It's someone from my past. The confession hung heavily between them, casting a shadow of doubt. This was the moment where everything could unravel, or something deeper could ignite. With a quick glance, Mia moved to pick up the phone, her fingers trembling. Sam's stomach churned as he wondered, would the truth set them free or plunge them further into chaos? Before she could respond, a loud bang echoed from the hallway, causing both of them to jump. The door had swung open, revealing a shadowy figure outlined in the frame. Surprise! Sam's blood ran cold as his pulse raced. Who stood before them, and what did they want? The night had only just begun, and so had the revelations that would change everything. As the figure stepped forward, a chilling uncertainty gripped Sam's heart. Have they truly been caught in a web of lies, or was this stranger the key to unlocking their fate? The answers they desperately needed were looming just out of reach. The figure advanced, the shadows parting to reveal a man with sharp features and a wicked grin. He looked out of place in the cozy home, clad in a sleek black jacket that shimmered under the low lighting. Sam's heart thudded like a war drum in his chest. Who the hell are you? He barked, stepping protectively in front of Mia. The stranger chuckled, his voice low and smooth. Relax, I'm not here to cause any trouble yet. Mia's face paled, and her fingers trembled around the phone as she lowered it to her side. Frank, I didn't expect you. Clearly, Frank replied, tilting his head in a mock display of sympathy. But I thought it was time to check in on my favorite maid. Mia's eyes darted toward Sam, and he caught the look of terrified recognition. This is your past. Sam accused, the air growing heavy with hostility. Oh, you have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes, Sam. Frank's gaze locked on Sam, narrowing. The question is, how much of it do you want to know? Mia drew a shaky breath, stepping forward. Frank, just go. We can't do this here. Oh, but we already are, darling, he replied, swaggering into the kitchen. And I've come to collect what's mine. Collect? Sam scoffed, his instincts screaming for confrontation. You don't own her. Frank's eyes glinted dangerously. If you want to play hardball, I can assure you it's going to get a lot messier than you bargained for. The tension hung thick, like a brewing storm ready to burst. Sam's fists clenched, fighting the urge to shove this intruder from his home. The fear emanating from Mia made it worse. The truth she had concealed from him was now tainted. Had he underestimated the perilous dance they were caught in? Lily is in bed, Sam spat back quietly, mindful of the child's presence. You will not bring her into this. For the first time, Frank's bravado wavered. Too late for that, he sneered, drawing a small, metallic object from his pocket, a flash drive, glinting ominously. You see, this contains everything, the truth about Mia, about us. Hand it over, and I might just let you maintain your little family unit. The weight of the drive dropped onto the table with a finality that echoed in Sam's mind. The stakes had risen. This wasn't a game anymore. This was survival. Mia's voice shook as she pleaded, "Please, Sam, don't. He doesn't hold the cards he claims." Frank chuckled, enjoying the scene he had orchestrated. "But don't you see, Mia? They're my cards to play." Sam stepped closer, adrenaline coursing. "What do you want from us?" Frank leaned back, the smile never fading. "What I want is simple, the truth. Now, make your choice. Do you want to continue living in the dark, or are you ready to embrace the chaos?" Silence settled like a dark fog, clinging to everyone present. Sam's mind raced, churning through scenarios, contemplating the risks. If he called the police, would they believe him? If he confronted Frank directly, what would happen to Mia and Lily? The air crackled with tension, a standoff poised to explode. He realized now it wasn't just about Mia's secrets, it was about all of them, their safety. When he finally opened his mouth to respond, the sound of creaking floorboards behind them sent shockwaves through the room. "Daddy?" Lily's soft voice broke through the tension, innocent and curious, echoing in the basement of dread that had taken root. In a split second, the choices weighed down heavily on Sam. His heart raced, and a new kind of panic surged within him. How could he protect his daughter from the darkness that was closing in? As all eyes turned toward the doorway, the chilling reality sunk in. Their fragile world was about to shatter, and the truth was a volatile weapon. What would Sam decide to protect the ones he loved, and would it be enough before the past consumed them all? "Daddy?" The sweet innocence of Lily's voice hung in the air like a gasp of fresh air in a room thick with smoke. Sam turned, dread curling in his stomach. She stood there, tousled hair and sleepy eyes, blissfully unaware. His little girl, stepping into a minefield. "No, sweetheart, go back to bed," he urged, the edge of panic creeping into his voice. But it was too late. Lily stumbled into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. Sam's heart pounded. Frank's presence felt like poison, and he could almost feel the darkness coiling tighter around them. "Is everything okay?" Lily asked, confusion knitting her brows. Sam wished he could shield her from what was unfolding, but the moment hung heavy, every second stretching into eternity. Frank straightened, his smile sliding into something more sinister. "Well, good evening, little princess. Just a chat with your dad and Mia." "Don't talk to her," Sam growled, moving instinctively to block Frank. The adrenaline surged, blurring his vision with red. Mia's quick breath broke through the tension, drawing his attention. "Lily, sweetie, why don't you go play in your room?" she said, voice teetering between calm and desperation. "But I want to stay," Lily protested, her small fists clenching. "Now." Sam's voice was sharp, cutting through the air like glass, and Lily recoiled, eyes wide. "Okay," she whispered, turning, casting one last puzzled look back before retreating. The door clicked shut, leaving only Sam, Mia, and the presence of menace that Frank exuded. Tension surged like a coiled spring, ready to snap. "See what you've done?" Frank taunted, stepping closer to Sam, who fought the urge to back down. "Now put that drive in her little hands, and we might avoid any real damage." "No deal," Sam shot back, the words rough and defiant. This was a game, but he had to protect Mia and Lily. Frank's smirk faltered briefly but quickly morphed back into sadistic glee. "Your little defiance will not last long, my friend. You're playing in my arena." "What do you want?" Sam asked, his teeth clenched. "What are you threatening us with?" The shadow of a grin returned to Frank's face. "I'm not threatening. I'm stating facts. The truth can be liberating or it can ruin lives. Isn't that right, Mia?" Mia's shoulders sagged, the fight draining from her as she looked deeper into Frank's eyes. You don't have to do this, Frank. It's over. Ooh, that's rich. Frank threw back his head and laughed, a sound that churned Sam's stomach. Over? What could be over when the past is bursting at the seams? You think just because you've tucked away your secrets, they'll disappear? Sam stepped forward, ready to expose Frank's bluff. He wouldn't let Frank control the narrative. We can turn this around. Just tell us what you want. Frank rested a hand on the table, leaning closer, eyes narrowing. I want the truth handed to me on a silver platter. The truth about why you need to hide, Mia. Mia flinched at her name, her face pale, and Sam felt the weight of the unsaid words crash around them. That flash drive holds everything, Frank continued, enjoying the torment etched on her face. And what a little treasure trove it is. Family secrets, scandals that could make headlines. Mia covered her mouth in horror, eyes brimming with tears. Sam fought back panic, knowing they were teetering on the precipice of disaster. Handing over the drive could expose more than just Mia's past, it could destroy everything they'd built together, everything he wanted for Lily. Everyone has a breaking point. Frank leaned back slightly, studying them both, the predator eyeing his prey. What's yours? The silence collapsed around them, heavy with the weight of precarious decisions and buried truths. Sam's resolve began to crumble, but he also felt the flicker of determination reignite within him. But then, what if there was another way to find out what Frank really wanted? What if I play your game? He asked, each word a deliberate build-up. Frank raised an eyebrow, intrigue flashing in his eyes. Now that's a question I'm eager to hear more about. Would playing Frank's game buy them time? Or lead straight into a trap? Uncertainty loomed, and Sam's gut churned wildly. What had he just set in motion? Sam's heart raced, each beat echoing like a drum in a silent theater. He could see the flicker of amusement on Frank's face, a predator sensing weakness. He had to be careful. This was no simple chess match, it was a battle of wits, and losing could mean losing everything. Frank leaned closer, his voice low, almost conspiratorial. Let's make this interesting, shall we? I'll throw in a choice, a deal that might just keep your little girl safe. Sam's breath hitched. Just how far was Frank willing to go? What's the catch? He shot back, trying to maintain his composure. The drive, of course. You give it to me, and I'll make sure the past stays buried. Or he paused, savoring the moment, I reveal everything to everyone. The media wouldn't hesitate to splash it all over the front page. You think anyone would approve of you being with Mia? They won't care about context, they'll just want a story. Sam swallowed hard, the image of Lily's innocent face flashing in his mind. What do you really want, Frank? Oh, I've already told you, Frank replied, feigning nonchalance. But you're not getting it. I crave truth, the kind of truth that gnaws at the gut. You're living a lie, Sam. I just want your world to collapse, one secret at a time. Mia had been quiet, her eyes darting between Sam and Frank, confusion deepening in her expression. Sam, don't listen to him, she implored softly. He's trying to manipulate you. Aren't we all? Frank countered sharply before returning his focused glare to Sam. If you want to get out of this without suffering real consequences, you need to deal. Deal with what? Sam challenged, unwilling to back down. What if I don't give you the drive? Frank shrugged, feigning indifference. Then someone close to you will pay the price. Maybe even Lily. You wouldn't want anything to happen to your little princess, now would you? A cold knot of dread gripped Sam's stomach, tightening like a vice. He couldn't risk Lily's safety. The room felt like it was closing in around him, shadows lengthening with each passing second. Then, a flicker of defiance ignited within him. I'm not afraid of you, Frank, Sam spat, the words bursting forth with unexpected power. You're just a coward hiding behind threats. Frank's eyes darkened, the facade of amusement vanishing entirely. "You're playing a dangerous game, Sam. But I'll give you credit, I love when someone thinks they have control." Mia took a step closer to Sam, her hand trembling as it rested on his shoulder. "We can figure this out," she said, voice steadier than her body. "Together. Get back." Frank bellowed, the calm demeanor replaced by fury. "You're just as entangled in this as he is. You don't know what you've awakened." The words hung thick in the air, each syllable wrapping around Sam like a noose. He could feel the oppressive weight of Frank's gaze, sensing his eagerness to lash out. Sam's chest tightened further. This was spiraling fast. "What do you know?" Sam demanded, defiance clenching his fists. "Tell me everything." Frank sneered, but the glint in his eye suggested he relished the challenge. "You really want to know? Fine. But remember, once this unraveling starts, there's no stopping it." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the living room, shattering the confrontational atmosphere. Startled, they all turned to the sound. Had Lily returned? "Stay here." Sam hissed at Mia, bolting towards the noise, his heart pounding in his ears. As he rounded the corner, dread seeped into his bones. The front door stood ajar, swinging slightly on its hinges. Had someone else gotten involved? Before he could process the implications, shadows flitted past the window. Sam felt the chill of fear creep up his spine. There was no turning back now. What had he unleashed? He turned to find Frank grinning at him, eyes glinting with malicious delight. "You've just opened a door you can't close, my friend. Let us see what steps out." What had he set in motion? And would he be able to protect Lily and Mia as the darkness closed in? As Sam stepped into the living room, the chaos unfurled before him like a dark storm. The coffee table lay in pieces, shards gleaming like teeth on the floor, and the curtain swayed menacingly, though no breeze dared enter. The air buzzed with tension. His heart pounded loud enough to drown out the thumping silence as he scanned the room. "Lily?" he called, voice tight with panic. No response. He moved closer to the door, his pulse racing. Each step felt heavier, the dread pooling in his gut. Could Frank have sent someone after her? That thought stabbed deep into his thoughts. Then, a chill washed over him. A figure crouched in the shadows near the wall, eerily still, its shape blurring with the darkness. Sam squinted, his mind racing. Adrenaline surged, igniting his instincts as he prepared for a confrontation. He took a step forward, heart hammering in his chest. "Who is there?" he demanded, voice firm yet taut. The crouched figure shifted, the faint light spilling in through the door casting a flicker of recognition through the shadow. It was a girl no older than 12, her wide eyes glistening with unshed tears. Familiar brown hair fell in disheveled strands around her face. Lily. Relief swept through him like a wave crashing on a shore, but it was quickly replaced by fear. "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be outside alone." She pressed her back against the wall, eyes darting to the door, then to Sam as if she could sense the danger lingering just outside the frame. "I heard voices, Daddy," she whispered, voice quaking. "And then I saw shadows." Shadows. The word lingered in the air, wrapping around Sam's throat like a noose. Frank's threats echoed in his mind. He couldn't let fear crack through his facade. "Sweetie, we need to get you back to your room," he said, forcing calm into his voice. But deep down, a storm brewed. He couldn't shake the feeling that danger was closing in, waiting to pounce. "No," she pleaded, shaking her head vigorously. "We can't. They're out there. I heard them talking." "What? Who?" Sam's fear sharp as a knife, he crouched down to her level, willing her to look into his eyes. "The men. They said they wanted to take you. They're looking for the drive." Her voice quivered, cutting through the pounding in his ears. The drive. The entire world felt like it teetered on its fragile balance. Sam's stomach twisted. He turned back to the other room where Frank had stood moments ago. The man knew too much, and now it seemed he had allies. "Stay here, Lily. Don't move," he ordered, voice low and steady. Somehow, he needed to protect her, and that meant confronting whatever lay beyond the door. "I'm scared, Dad," she whispered, clutching her stuffed rabbit tighter against her chest. "I know. But I won't let anything happen to you," he promised, steeling himself as he pushed the door open wider. The world outside the house loomed dark and foreboding. Sam took a breath, feeling the tightly knit threads of fate squeeze around him. Then he saw them, 3 dark figures, their silhouettes moving outside like shadows cast from a flame. Anger curled in the pit of his stomach. Were they working for Frank, or had they come to collect on their own threats? "Get back, Sam." Frank's voice rang out from somewhere behind him, slicing through the air like ice. "You have no idea what's at stake." But Sam wasn't listening. Fury ignited, pushing him forward. What would he do next? And could he outmaneuver whatever was coming for him and his family? The echoes of the past merged with the present as Sam faced the shadows, heart racing. Everything was about to change. Sam's heart raced as he stepped outside, the night air thick with impending doom. The figures shifted, their features hidden, yet he could sense the danger radiating from them. "Who are you?" he barked, muscles tensed, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The nearest figure stepped forward, his face barely illuminated by the flickering porch light. "You're in over your head, Sam. Hand over the drive, and this can end peacefully," the man said, a cold smile creeping across his face. "Peacefully?" Sam echoed, incredulous. "You think I'd just give you what you want? You don't know who you're dealing with." "Yeah, we do," said another. "You think being a dad makes you untouchable? Look around. We know your little secret. You've put your daughter in danger just by keeping that drive. Frank's not the real threat here anymore." His words struck like a blow. Sam's mind raced. They knew about the drive. How? Should he comply, or was there a way to outsmart them? His daughter's safety was paramount, but surrendering felt like a death sentence. "Get away from my family!" he roared, fists clenched. The fire within him surged as he stepped toward them, emboldened by the desperate need to protect Lily. The first man shrugged casually, his posture loose, but Sam could see the tension in his hands. It was a wolfish demeanor, all predatory ease that only strengthened Sam's resolve. "Don't be a hero, Sam. It won't end well. You have no clue how deep this goes." Behind him, Lily's gasp cut through the darkness. "Dad!" The figures turned to face her, and Sam felt something inside him snap. No one threatened his daughter. Without thinking, he launched himself at the closest man, fists swinging. Powerful adrenaline coursed through him as he landed a solid punch. The man staggered back, surprise filling his eyes. But the moment was fleeting. The other two surged forward, and Sam felt their hands grab him, yanking him back. The world narrowed to a struggle, the crunch of gravel underfoot, shouting echoing in the night. "Lily, run!" he shouted, panic threading his voice. "I won't leave you." She cried in that split second. He caught a glimpse of her face, eyes wide with fear. It sent a jolt through his heart. "You can't let them take you." He had to end this now. The pressure around him tightened, arms like iron bands. But Sam twisted, breaking free just enough to turn and face the trio, his eyes wild. "You want the drive? You can't have it. Then we'll take everything else," the man said, grim determination etched across his face. Lily retreated behind the doorframe, eyes glistening with tears. She was watching her father, fragile hope hanging in the air, mixed with terror. Sam's rage surged. "I'd fight the whole world for her." He spat, furious determination rising to a fever pitch. Suddenly, a sharp sound jolted through the darkness, a siren, growing closer. Relief washed over him, but the men's eyes narrowed, calculating. Their moment of hesitation could be the key. "Get out of here!" Sam shouted at Lily, "now!" He turned to the men, undeterred. "If you think you can scare me into submission, you've underestimated me." With resolve hardening in his chest, he prepared for the fight of his life. This wasn't just about the drive anymore. It was about his family, his future. The men shifted, glancing at each other, their next moves weighing heavily in the air. The siren blared louder, a herald of hope mingled with uncertainty. "Let us finish this, Sam," the first man gritted out, and a new tension ignited. Would the siren save them or would it bring greater danger? Sam braced for impact as everything hung in the balance. The moment had come, but what would be left when the dust settled? The siren wailed, slicing through the chaotic night, and for a heartbeat, everything froze. Sam locked eyes with the nearest man, a silent standoff charged with ferocity. The moment stretched as their breaths mingled with the impending clash, every second a taut wire ready to snap. Then, the man spoke, a sly grin creeping on his face. "You really think the cops will save you? They're way too late." His voice dripped with contempt. Before Sam could lunge again, the men surged forward, and the world shifted. Sam felt the fist of the first attacker collide with his ribs, air bursting from his lungs in a choked gasp. He stumbled but quickly recovered, adrenaline pumping through him with renewed clarity. The realization hit like a slap: this was more than a fight. This was war. "Get behind me!" Sam yelled again, grounding himself and facing his assailants. His throat tightened as he caught sight of Lily's trembling form in the doorway. She didn't deserve this chaos. Outnumbered, but not outmatched, Sam glimpsed something glint in the moonlight, a wrench left forgotten in the corner of the porch. He charged for it, every instinct screaming to protect his daughter. "Stay back!" he roared, grabbing the wrench and swinging it with a wild desperation. It connected with one man's arm, causing him to howl in pain. The other two faltered, caught by surprise. Sam sensed the shift. He wasn't just a father anymore. He was their target, and fear was a box they underestimated. "Run, Lily!" he shouted again, heart pounding in sync with the sirens echoing in the distance. But she didn't move, capturing his gaze with a mixture of fear and defiance. The sight pierced him. How could he shield her, protect her when she stayed affectionately glued to the chaos? With renewed purpose, he took a calculated step forward, swinging the wrench again. This time, the blow was aimed carefully, not just for retaliation but for a chance. A chance to escape this nightmare with her intact. "Take him down!" one of the men yelled, rushing forward, desperation clawing against his bravado. They coordinated now, pulling in on him from every side. Sam cursed under his breath, instinctively raising the wrench to block a brutal punch aimed at his jaw. The impact rattled through him, drawing fire into his veins, but then he saw her, a moment of vulnerability in the men's defenses. Just as the one backed him against the railing, the other caught Sam's wrist in a vice grip, arms straining. Just before he could fully grapple down, Sam utilized every ounce of strength and twisted free. The wrench swung low, hitting one man square in the shins, sending him crashing down. Wasting no time, Sam felt the swell of hope, fueled by survival instincts. "Lily! Go!" he shouted again, his voice hoarse but unwavering, but still, she hesitated. Sam's world teetered as he saw fear play across her eyes, recognition sinking in. This was more than just a struggle. "Now!" Sam urged, "you have to run. Don't look back." The other man lunged toward her, a vicious snarl on his lips, but Sam charged at him, wrench raised high. "Get the hell away from her!" he roared, fury and paternal instinct pushing him beyond limits. Suddenly, the sirens blared closer, pitch rising. It could all end. Still, the man advancing on him hesitated, just long enough for Sam to take advantage. The world zoomed in and out, songs of sirens, shouts of chaos, and the crackling sound of a tense confrontation intertwining, a storm brewing at his doorstep. but just as victory surged brightly on the horizon, Sam felt a sharp jab in his side. Eyes wide, he looked down, disbelief washing over him, fear enveloped the air, a new shift pulling at the edges of reality. Who had done this? "Time's up, Sam," the first man said, his smile returning but colder, more predatory than ever. As he slid down to the gravel, the world began to blur, a dance of shadows and light. Sam's last thought was for Lily, but the darkness came flooding in too quickly. Would she escape? An overwhelming silence followed, leaving questions hanging heavily in the night. The sirens finally wrapped around them, and deep down, Sam knew the fight wasn't over. It was just beginning. Sam's world dissolved into darkness, an unsettling void enveloping him as he teetered on the edge of consciousness. The weight of the gravel pressed against his back felt foreign, as if he were sinking into a dream where the rules had changed. Everything became muffled, the chaos around him fading into a distant hum. Was this it? Was he done? A part of him longed to check on Lily, but the darkness clawed at his will, pulling him deeper into surrender. But then, a surge of anger ignited within him. No. He couldn't let this happen. Not now. He jolted, every nerve screaming back to life. The sirens were closer, their wails slicing through his haze, and it flickered something inside him awake. With gritted teeth, he pushed himself gingerly onto his elbows. Pain flared across his side, reminding him of the betrayal of unseen hands. His breath came in sharp gasps. "Lily!" Sam called, forcing the word from his windpipe, but it came out as a mere whisper, lost in the rushing chaos surrounding him. Ahead, he spotted movement, a shadow darting, panic racing. At first, relief washed over him. But the realization struck harder. She was still here. She hadn't left. What if she was caught in crossfire, amidst the men zeroing in on her? Fueled by instinct, he clawed at the ground, struggling to rise, each push against the dirt feeling lethargic. He saw the figures advancing, flames of malice in their eyes, relentless like wolves unleashed. "Run, Lily!" he rasped, barely coherent but desperate. The men were too close, the danger too real. He could feel their presence like a storm colliding with his very essence. Lily stood frozen, her eyes wide, caught in the crosshairs of panic and disbelief. Sam's heart pounded so violently it felt like it might burst. "Lily, please go. Daddy!" she cried out, her small voice cutting through the turmoil with an urgency that shocked him to clarity. She took a small step forward, instinctively edging toward him even as danger loomed. "No!" he shouted, the word ripping through him, pulling on every fiber of his being. "Get away. I'll handle this." With every ounce of determination, he forced himself to stand, feeling the world tilt around him. The pain in his side dulled slightly, replaced by a flood of adrenaline. He squared his shoulders, positioning himself between Lily and the oncoming threat. "Stay back!" he bellowed, wrench raised, still glinting menacingly in the moonlight. The remaining attackers hesitated, surprised by his defiance. "Look at him, all brave and noble." The first man scoffed, taking a confident step forward, his eyes glinting with sadistic glee. "But really, what can you do now?" Sam tightened his grip, feeling fatigue creeping back in, but something steered him. Love prevailed over cowardice. "It doesn't matter. I'll fight to my last breath." Before they could react, a terrifying scream erupted from the edge of the porch. Someone charged into the fray, a figure that sent a jolt of confusion rippling through Sam. "Dylan!" Sam blinked, disbelief washing over him. His brother, a surprise that felt borrowed from some fevered dream. He was here, a flash of fury cloaked in urgent determination. "Get to her. Now!" Dylan shoved Sam aside, prompting a fierce clash. Dylan swung with a primal ferocity, catching one of the attackers off guard. The others recoiled, weapons drawn, caught between their own surprise and Sam's resolute stand. Their formation broke, tension crackling in the air. Sam felt the urge to act, heart racing. Would they gain the upper hand? Could they protect Lily together? But in the chaotic scramble, his gaze darted toward the distant lights appearing on the horizon. The police were finally here. Would they make it? As the sounds of sirens crescendoed with urgency, questions haunted him. Would Lily remain safe? Was Dylan too late? Uncertainty began to settle like a thick fog, but as Sam narrowed his focus on the closest assailant, one thing became clear: this fight wasn't over, not by a long shot. In this hailstorm of chaos, one thought echoed louder than all the others: what would it cost them to survive? Sam's heart thudded like a war drum as he and Dylan faced the remaining attackers, tension throwing sparks in the air. Rose-colored hope intertwined with fear. They were close, but the danger was very real. He could feel Lily's presence behind him, anchoring him. He couldn't let her down. The shadows had scattered, but they were still a threat. Dylan landed a hard punch on one of the men, and Sam surged with adrenaline, swiftly following suit. The embrace of battle ignited something deep within him, a primal instinct to protect, to fight back against the darkness edging ever closer. "Stay behind me, Lily!" Sam shouted again, his voice hoarse but commanding. Dylan nodded sharply, his knuckles white as he gripped the attacker's shirt, muscles straining. The remaining attackers regrouped, eyes locked on Sam and Dylan with vicious intent. "You're making a mistake," one growled, seemingly unfazed by the incoming sirens. "You think the police will save you? You're just delaying the inevitable." Sam's grip on the wrench tightened, every fiber of his being burning with the will to protect his family. "No one's taking anyone." Sam snapped back defiantly, his chest swelling with anger. He met each advancing figure with fierce conviction, and for a moment, it felt like they had the upper hand. But then, as if on cue, a voice sliced through the turmoil. "Freeze! Police!" The street lit up as patrol cars surged into view, white and red lights flashing, sirens wailing. Sam felt a flood of relief wash through him, but it didn't come without a price. The men momentarily hesitated, glancing toward the incoming lights, their confidence faltering. "Dylan, keep them occupied," Sam shouted, feeling the urge to protect Lily. He took a calculated step back, his eyes scanning for her, ensuring she remained safe behind him. In the chaos, the weight of the moment pressed down heavily. He needed a plan, and fast. "We're not going anywhere," Dylan roared, lunging toward the attackers, but Sam knew they couldn't afford to wait. He had to act now. Against the growing noise of the sirens and chaos, he turned toward Lily. "Lily, sweetheart, listen to me. I need you to run inside and lock the door. Can you do that for me?" Fear flickered in her eyes, but trust carried the day. "I can do it, Daddy," she declared, determination igniting in her tiny frame. Sam's heart soared. He turned back to face the approaching danger. Everyone left was still fighting for the truth. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting to preserve a life of love against the shadows that threatened to consume them. With renewed energy, Sam squared off again as the assailants rejoined the conflict, positioning themselves with confidence. "You think the cops can save you? You're weak," one man taunted. Sam felt the tide of fear rise in him, but he pushed it back, refusing to let it dictate his next move. With the police now just yards away, shouting orders, darkness loomed just out of reach. The air crackled with tension, the foes were ready for anything. It was fight or flight, with the sirens amplifying their urgency. Sam acted on instinct, diving toward one of the attackers with a fury born from desperation. He tackled the man to the ground, taking the momentum from the surprise and driving him down, pinning him with all his weight. A sharp crack punctuated the air. Dylan had taken advantage of the chaos to land another blow, causing his opponent to stumble back. But as Sam finally got a grip on his attacker, he glimpsed Lily slipping quietly back into the house, her small frame framed in the doorway. His heart swelled with immeasurable gratitude for her courage. In that split second, sirens blaring louder now, the police descended on the scene, floodlights flickering alive. Flashing badges and shouts exploded into the thick night air, fragmenting the chaos. Hands up. Lay down your weapons. The officers bellowed, ready to reclaim order. The attackers, realizing they were outnumbered and overwhelmed, exchanged panicked glances before quickly retreating, scrambling into the depths of the night with their tails tucked between their legs. The danger slowly evaporated, leaving behind nothing but haunting echoes of fear and shadows lurking beyond the reach of the lights. Sam, panting heavily, scrambled to his feet, casting frantic glances at Dylan and the distant police. The adrenaline didn't ease in an instant. Instead, it burned deeply within him. Together they had faced danger and emerged victorious, not unscathed, but resolutely alive. And now? Now it was time to truly focus on what mattered. Lily. He called, breathless, his heart racing at a different tempo now. As if responding to her name, she appeared at the doorway again, eyes bright with wonder at the unfolding scene. Relief flooded over him. She was safe, and his heart swelled with gratitude. "Daddy!" she cried, rushing into his arms, and Sam enveloped her in a fierce hug, holding her against the chaos of the world. "I was so scared." Her small voice trembled, but Sam could only hold her tighter, assuring her with every ounce of his being only love resided here now, locking away the past. As the police secured the perimeter, officers approached Sam and Dylan, ready to take statements and assess the situation. Sam caught his brother's eye, and they shared a silent understanding, a bond reforged through fire and fear. They would carry the scars, but they would also carry on their family legacy strong and whole. The storm had passed, but the whispers of the past still lingered. Mia's secrets would still need to be uncovered, but now Sam and Lily, with Dylan by their side, had the strength to confront whatever lay ahead. As Sam breathed in the crisp night air, he felt the weight begin to lift. There would be healing amidst the rubble. Together, they would face any new challenges and approach tomorrow with hope. A sun had yet to rise, but as they huddled together, it felt like dawn was just around the corner, a promise of light breaking through the darkness. "Let us go home," Sam whispered, holding his daughter close. The future awaited, full of possibility, and he was ready for it all. Now is your chance to step up and show your unwavering support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will leave you breathless. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm you won't want to miss what's coming next. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this roller coaster ending. I want to hear everything. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see where this crazy journey goes next. There's more to uncover. Let us keep this amazing community growing and thriving.